Total War is here, and this is the Cathay roster breakdown. And let's start with the factions. So, the Jade Court is definitely the strongest one because they do have unique mechanic that allows them to boost themselves on the map quite a bit by not spending anything except the decrease that they do generate passively by using the decrease. So overall, their faction mechanics are super strong, and they do have a game carry potential to the point that it's just super strong and can lead to super good results. Then we do have the Western provinces, and the Western provinces are okay, but they're not as strong as the Jade Court. So they are just going to the campaign carry. They are buffing their armor for their troops throughout the roster. So 15 points of extra armor is always good. And then we do have the northern provinces, which are goated only solely because their ranged troops get 20% ammo. And then we are going into the Dragon Children, and all of them have potential to be a Doomstack, with Yuan being the strongest, then Miao Ying, and then Zhao Ming. And now we are going to talk about their special traits. So Yuan Bo is supposed to be boosting your campaign. Also, he has the ability to execute his enemies with a skill. So he's a really good duelist. Then Miao Ying, she has a potential to be a super powerful Doomstack because she can heal herself and she can stack quite a bit of damage resistance. And also, she is boosting ranged troops super strongly. So, if you pair her with the Celestial Dragon Guard or even with the Jade Crossbows, she is going to punch way above her weight. Alright, and the Zhao Ming. Zhao Ming is by far the weakest out of the Dragon Children, but that's mostly because the other two are just super powerful, and he is feeling kind of vanilla-ish compared to the others. Then we do have the Saytang Watcher, and getting him early on in the campaign can absolutely help you carry yourself in the campaign. It's a terracotta sentinel that has a bow and can shoot at the enemy as a artillery piece. And then we are having the Astromancer. Astromancer is alright. He can boost your troops, and then he can ride a compass into the battle, and he is going to be able to boost your overall magic capability. And he uses the Astromancy, so he has the Celestial, Lord of Magic. And we have the Alchemist, and obviously the Alchemist is using the Lord of Metal. An Alchemist, as well as the Astromancer, is helping you carry the campaigns because the Lord of Metal is quite strong, especially against armored opponents that you'll be facing later on, such as Chaos Dwarfs and the Chaos. And also we do have the Gate Master, and Gate Master is absolutely broken because you can stack the Gate Masters to get yourself 6 melee defense per each Gate Master. for all the Jade Warrior troops. And while we're talking about the Jade Warrior troops, all Jade Warrior troops are going into the goated tier just because of their synergy with the Gatemaster. And even without the Gatemaster, they can roll with around 53 melee defense for their frontline troops. And where is the Jade Lance Cavalry? Jade Lance Cavalry is over here. And all those troops will benefit hugely from being with the Gatemaster embedded in their army. So it's 6 melee defense per each Gatemaster and 10% upkeep per each Gatemaster. And then we have the Lords. So if we want a Lord that is buffing our troops, we are going with the Celestial General. If we want a Lord that is also buffing our troops, but is instead also providing quite a lot of upkeep reduction, we are going with the Lord Magistrate. And then there is a Dragon-Blooded Shugengan, and I do not value them really highly. They do get a flying mount later on, they can cast spells, but the lore of Ying and lore of Yang, with the exception for the Talons spell, is quite weak. So that's why I'm putting them on B tier. They are not redundant, but they are definitely weaker than the Celestial General and the Lord Magistrate. And then we are getting into the War Machines, and the Sky Junk is a unit that will carry your campaign and is actually goated. So it is a flying unit that shoots a fire rockets at quite a distance with quite good accuracy, and it actually has quite a bit of ammunition as well. And then we have these Sky Lanterns, and Sky Lanterns are one of the worst units in the game, and there is few ways that you could fix them. If you wanted to, there are mods that are increasing their range a bit and giving them 4 models instead of 1. But in the vanilla game, they are absolutely terrible. Don't recruit them ever. There's no point. And then we are getting the artillery, and the artillery for Cathay is super accurate. The cannons are accurate, really accurate, and they will help you carry the campaign. And the fire rocket version is also gonna help you carry the campaign, and it's gonna be higher than the cannon version. So the cannons are more anti-large, the rockets are more anti-infantry, but the cannons will do alright versus infantry as well. And now we are getting into the Waging Compass. And Waging Compass, sorry, not Waging Compass, Wu-Xing Compass, is a unit that is alright, but as a mount for our Astromancer, not as a standalone unit. So it is going into do not recruit. And then we do have the War Drums, and the War Drums can provide few buffs to your units. The War Drums have 2 abilities, one which gives them the melee attack and the reload skill, and the other one that gives plus 24 armor and expert charge defense. So they are great to have in your army, especially 2 of them per army, and you are just gonna be keeping them in the middle of your formation and buffing absolutely everything that you brought to the battle. And the Regiment of Renown is a bit better because it has 3rd skill, So if you want to have one super strong army, you will bring 2 regular war drums and the Regiment of Renown, and the Regiment of Renown has a skill that boosts the damage itself. And then we do have the Celestial Dragon Crossbowmen, and the Celestial Dragon Crossbowmen are super powerful, especially in the Miao Ying's army, and they are your best choice for armor-piercing units in the roster of the Cathay. And then we get the Terracotta Sentinels, and they can be great if you pair them with appropriate generals. So you can get Shugengan to be able to heal. So you're gonna be putting the Sentinels into Shugengan's army, and you'll be able to heal them, and they are gonna be able to withstand way more punishment than they would normally. Or you put them into the Miao Ying's army, and she also has the healing spells. Overall, they are a carrying the campaign unit, especially if you can get them early, but in general, I do not find Kate's campaign hard. Like Yuan Bo's campaign is super easy. The Northern Provinces campaign is kind of easy, especially considering the fact that you want to take the Bastion quite early and stack up the upkeep reduction buildings in the Bastion. So you put extra armies in the Bastion, so you're being protected from the Kurgan Band's invasions. But also, those extra armies are making you super powerful, so most of the factions on your side of the wall will not want to declare wars on you. So you can just then send Miao Ying to wipe everyone out, and then you can confederate your brothers. And Zhao Ming's campaign is a bit tougher, but you have Geld to help you around. And his faction mechanics don't really speak to me because he has boosts to the ogre mercenaries, and I don't really enjoy ogres whatsoever. I do find them quite weak of a faction. And yeah, the Regiment of Renowned Sentinel is also a significant boost to your campaign. Then we do have the bird. The Great Moonbird, which acts basically like a phoenix for the High Elves. So he has a Vortex spell that he can drop under him, and he is a overall great unit to have. And then we are going into the Celestial Lion, and Celestial Lion is a okay flying unit that you can utilize early on, but I wouldn't say that he's necessary for your campaign, and he will not be dealing those he will not be crucial for your success in the campaign. And then we are getting the Jade and Jet Lions, and they are a bit on the weak side because they are getting quite battered quite early. So, in theory, if you would like to, you could use them as a stopgaps for your early Jade Warrior crossbowman stacks. But in general, the Jade Warriors themselves will be a better frontline. They do have the breath attack and the missile mirror spell for the Jet Lion. However, I do find them to die super quickly to concentrated missile fire, even though that they have 15% missile resistance. And there is no way of healing them because they are constructs, so they are not gonna be healed with regular spells. And then we do get the Onyx Crowmen, and the Onyx Crowmen are a niche unit that is supposed to get into the enemy archers, and they are either C or just don't get them, because for the most part you are gonna be running with either Jade Warriors or Jade Warriors with shields. And if you're running the Jade Warriors with shields and your frontline is Jade Warriors with swords and shields, then you are going to win every single missile duel in the game, with maybe the exception of the Chaos Dwarfs, but they would have to really stack those blunderbusses. So, in general, there is no niche to be utilized for the Onyx Crowman. And then the Longma Riders, they are underwhelming. They do come from tier 3 build, tier 5 building. I wanted to say tier 3 because they are tier 3 unit. And the Regiment of Renown can be useful if you can get it fast enough and if you know how to use them well. They require quite a bit of micro, and you absolutely have to be certain that you will be able to pull them out once you charge them in, because they will die to almost anything. And then we do have Peasant Horsemen. And Peasant Horsemen, in a multiplayer, they are a quite good unit. But in the campaign, they are useless. So in the multiplayer, I would be using them as a fast unit to cap a capture point or flank the enemy when he's not looking. But in the campaign, when I'm playing against AI, there is no use for that unit. And then we have the Crane Gunners. And Crane Gunners are working basically like Jezzails and Hochland Long Rifles. They are good unit. They do have damage potential. I am not recruiting them that often, however, because they do suffer from the line of sight issues, and Jezzails for the most part don't have the line of sight issues, while the Crane Gunners can have them quite often. And now Iron Hail Gunners. I don't like them. I extremely dislike them. They will lose the sight in 90% of situations, especially in the Cathayan maps. The only good place to use them is in the cities. If there is a hero to stop the enemy from advancing into them, or if they are shooting from the wall onto the approaching infantry. And after that, we do have the Nangao Grenadiers. And they can be good, but they are kind of niche. We already have a lot of units that can dish out quite a lot of damage to the infantry in this roster, so their role is not really that crucial. And then we have the Peasant Bowmen, and Peasant Bowmen can absolutely help you carry the campaigns. Because you can boost them quite a bit in the tech tree, in the general skills, and they are cheap. They are cheap. So before you get your Gate Master stacks to reduce the upkeep of your Jade Warrior stacks, you will most likely be having a army at which the backline is the Peasant Bowmen. And the Peasant Spearmen are a okay frontline unit that will get you through the early game. but I would definitely go for the Jade Warriors with shields as soon as I can, and then supplement the flanks with the Jade Warrior Halberds. And then we do also have the Celestial Guard, and the Celestial Guard is a super strong unit that will be holding the line forever. Uh, so the distinction is important that you want to bring them to missile heavy engagements instead of Jade Warrior Halberds, because we can buff the Jade Warrior Halberds to be stronger than the Celestial Dragon Guard, but the Jade Warrior Halberds don't have a shield, so we want to exchange them depending on what factions we're facing. If we're facing something that has a lot of ranged units, we are going for the Celestial Dragon Guard. And if we are facing anything else that doesn't have 50% or 60% ranged, we are going for Jade Warriors with Halberds. And that would be it. If you want to know more about Total War Warhammer 3 and the units in the rosters in between all different factions, subscribe, and I will see you in the next episode next week.